Welcome to the beautiful nuclear art exhibit here in Austin, Texas, next to alongside a side event for South by Southwest. Heather and I are going to give you a little tour of some of the artworks today and muse a little bit on what art means for social movements and what we like about this art. Sound good?
Yeah, and Eric, I was wondering a little bit, tell me about why do you think nuclear needs art?
If you want to shift people's perspectives, you need to do something that is unexpected, and we have a lot of unexpected art pieces here, and simple and concrete and easily visualized, and I think we have a lot of good examples of that here. Otherwise, folks, you're stuck with your preconceived notions. And
I'm really excited about it because if you do a Google image search on nuclear energy, we find radiation symbols and mushroom clouds and cooling towers from plants, and that's about it. And so we're here to change the conversation about nuclear art. Look at all these amazing options. We're going to show you some of them.
Yeah. Awesome. So I guess we'll start. So we have, this one's a finalist from a competition we organized for the IAEA a couple years ago, a really beautiful poem from Rocio Mackenzie. I won't read it, but you can pause the video and read it. Yeah, and this one was a finalist in a different competition recently, put on by Eco Nuclear Solutions. Really beautiful collage here from Ava Byrne. What comes to mind when you're looking at this?
Yeah, well, it took me a while to get this, but it's really cool. It's kind of like here's the nuclear power plant with the fission happening, but there's also like doves and roses in there, and so steam comes out of the plant, and like this is where we make the energy, to power airplanes. Not really, but make electricity. But yeah, there's roses and birds, and it's just it's beautiful. And
so this is the turbine spinning from the steam generated here. This kind of looks like steam. I never noticed that before. To power, and this so does these feathers here. And
eventually the electricity comes out and powers a city, homes, and homes are surrounded by nature, and the power plant is in the community. I love that.
The hot water comes back, symbolized, I guess, by this orange color here, and goes through the cooling tower and cools. So this is like a artistic interpretation, but also a pretty good approximation of what actually happens. And this looks like she's almost got district heating going here too, right? Keeping the homes warm by sending hot water to them. Something I wish we did more in the U.S. Very popular to do in Europe, to have a centralized power plant and send the hot water places. In America, we put power plants in everybody's house instead. And then we send the fuel, like natural gas or whatever. I really, really like this piece a lot, and it's not the only one here by Eva Byrne. So we'll look at a few more probably. All right, onward. Okay. Next one we'll take a look at is this. So we have a couple other finalists from some contests here. This is the winner of that art competition we did a couple years ago, Caspian Coil. Just a beautiful watercolor kind of. I interpret this as sort of like Mother Earth holding the power of nuclear energy and sort of almost like giving it to humanity in a Promethean sort of way. I'm not sure if that's what Caspian was going for or not, but they describe wanting to kind of fight back against the stigma, the negative stigma surrounding nuclear with this piece, and I think it does a really good job here. This one over here is created by Gen A's newest fellow, Gayatri Karnik, and she used a traditional indigenous folk art called Warli to do this, from Western India, so kind of tying into her heritage in order to show this scene here. Heather, what's your reaction to this piece here?
I just love how different it is from everything I've ever seen before. It's amazing, and it brings the idea of like nuclear energy to impoverished communities. Like Africa is what we're talking about when we say energy poverty. They need so much energy. India needs so much energy. We want to use the power of nuclear to raise people's quality of life. So I love seeing those together.
I love how she depicts people in these swirls here, all kind of holding hands together. Yeah, I love the art style. So cool. Yeah, so we'll keep moving on. Got a trio of very different pieces here. This one kind of a very futuristic look at it, maybe a city powered by nuclear energy. Not to be taken too literally, you would not place a city on top of a cooling tower. And this would be one hell of a cooling tower if you were able to fit this much in it. They're not quite that big. But nonetheless, you kind of get a sense of the futurism. There's a brief poem here, A Star Within. It says, fields in an ampler ether, a light more glorious, dressed, lit evermore with their own bright stars and a sun of their own. From Virgil, I guess. So bringing in some historical poems there. And that was third place winner in our competition. Yeah, Heather, what do you think about this one?
I like this because in the nuclear industry, operators specifically say zoomies are inside containment, so we call them zoomies, and that's the neutrons that are released as part of making a chain reaction to make nuclear energy. So zoomies, to some extent, are all around us. And this poster kind of makes fun of that. He's coming in, with his protective suit on and his Geiger counter and measuring the radioactive banana. So it's quite comical to me. Do you want to say about the book?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this piece was originally commissioned as a potential cover for a book Generation Atomic helped produce called Earth is a Nuclear Planet, which is on sale starting April 2nd of 2024, whenever you're watching this. But we decided it was a little too unconventional for a book, but we still love this piece of work. It's really commentary on all of the over-the-top depictions of radiation that started to happen in the mid to late 50s. And we have this kind of satirical take like, oh, even a banana, which is naturally radioactive because of the potassium-40, deserves to be treated with so much fear. You need a hazmat suit and a Geiger counter in the kitchen here. While these kids look on horrified and confused. And I think that's a commentary too, is people don't know what the risk levels of various things are, so they're looking to the quote unquote experts to say how afraid of this do I need to be. And I think a common belief in the nuclear community and a principle is as low as reasonably achievable. And if your goal is as low as possible almost, then that goes to show that it seems that you would interpret that as even a little bit of radiation would be very dangerous. Yet the facts are to the contrary, and our bodies are quite good at handling radiation. But when we see the over-the-top reaction to it, we think, wow, that must be pretty bad.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah. Wow. This is another very beautiful one. A winner of our contest, and I feel like Eva could have done this one almost.
Same style, yeah. This was the first place winner in the Eco-Nuclear Solutions contest that was also curated and shown at the Fitchburg Gallery in Boston.
Yeah, Boston
so that's
area.
pretty exciting to have another nuclear art exhibit kind of happening at the same time as this one. We are just spreading the pro-nuclear message far and wide.
That's right.
So yeah, they shared some of their art with us, which is very generous. And
my take on this one is nuclear energy, of course, has the smallest land footprint per unit of energy produced, which means there's more room for nature, more room for habitat, because we don't need to spread out all of our energy generation and energy collection technologies out into the world in order to power a civilization, and that leaves more room for all these cool critters and all this great fauna.
That's such a great transition into our Diablo Canyon specific prints over here. I came into nuclear energy as a skeptic and pretty reluctantly. I didn't want to work at Diablo Canyon, and this is not what I expected to see when I started working there. I found that this one power plant on a tiny footprint of land in harmony with nature makes 10% of California's electricity, and I was just awestruck after about 6 years of questioning. So it took me a while.
Where in here do you work? Point it out.
Yeah, well, for a while I was reactor operator, so I worked in the control room, which is like right in the middle of those two domes in the back. Now I work in the administration building there. But often on my drive to work, I see coyotes and birds of prey, and I didn't happen to see that one whale breaching, but I have seen whales off the coast.
That's incredible.
Around Diablo before, and yeah, it's just a haven for wildlife and a really special place.
Yeah, I like to think that whales appreciate nuclear energy because one, it's not an energy generation technology that is in their habitat. Like I'm concerned about offshore wind for that reason. It's just, I personally feel like we shouldn't be doing construction projects out in the ocean. Like let the ocean be the ocean, and we have enough room on land. There's enough things that are stressing out marine life already, whether it's acidification or overfishing or plastic. We don't need to be adding on to that stress with energy. And I know that's maybe a controversial perspective among environmentalists, but whatever. You're here for the hot takes, and I'm going to give them to you.
Clean energy is great, but the best clean energy is what we should be doing. The lowest impact is nuclear, and we see that, and we'll need some other things to complement it, but yeah, we'll build out the best balance, and we're here to help talk more about how nuclear needs to be a part of that.
Yeah. Man, and I had the pleasure of being out on this water just last week, and there's marine life everywhere. We saw tons of sea otters, pelicans, sea lions. It's incredible. Yeah, if you're watching this, try to tour Diablo. It's a great place. Some more Diablo here.
So SB 846 is the legislation that essentially saved Diablo Canyon, and we've been working to help extend the operation of the plant for the last 6 or 7 years since they announced that they weren't going to relicense. So a lot of us advocates, including Eva Byrne, have been working diligently to meet with people and help share the value message of nuclear energy. And I love her embroidery project there, and it shows a little heart right in the geographical location of California where Diablo Canyon is.
Yeah. Some more fantastic work from Eva Byrne. And Eva, she's done some volunteering with Generation Atomic, and one of the things she did is went with another one of our volunteers and presented at a school. And I love the slides they put together, because one of them is it starts with just a picture of a cooling tower, and it says, "What is this?" And of course, the kids are going to be like, "A nuclear plant." And then the next slide, it backs out. It's actually a coal plant. It's like, nope, coal plant with a cooling tower. Yes, expectations subverted. Yes. But she has a great sense of humor, and you can see that playfulness coming through, and in these incredible pieces. Very, very cool. And did Eva do this one too? She did.
Yes, those are two signs actually. And in California also, not only are we working to extend the life of Diablo Canyon, but we also want to legalize nuclear energy. We want California to lift their moratorium so that we can build new nuclear for the state. And we just need so much clean energy that's really important that we do that soon.
And if we don't build any more nuclear in California, Ryan will not be able to expand his belt buckle collection. So I guess that's one of the ways historically to celebrate a new plant, right, is to commission a belt buckle, and he's got these amazing ones for Diablo Canyon that I'm not jealous of at all. What do we have here, Heather?
This is uranium glass. And my dad was a glass blower and also a little bit of a mad scientist. He had a gem and mineral museum called Irons in the Fire. And when I was little, we would go on field trips with my class to my house. And my dad would do, helium experiments and glass blowing and release weather balloons. And we would pet tarantulas and do Tesla coils and Jacob's ladders, and he had fossils and so many great things. But my favorite thing was a uranium exhibit that showed a whole bunch of fluorescent and other minerals too, actually, that fluoresce. And I love how this, it kind of exemplifies the hidden power of the atom to, in this case, it takes on the UV light energy. The electrons get excited, and when they go back to their normal state, they give off that energy in the form of that greenish glow. And I just think it's so special to think about that kind of power also being used to make energy. And so this is very fond and reminds me of my dad.
And we should show this. This probably looks like fake, or like we got some kind of green light on here. There's actually purple ultraviolet light.
Yeah, there's my light up there.
And without the light, here's what it looks like without that light. It's just kind of this light green color, but it's
called Vaseline glass.
Vaseline. I've heard depression glass. I've heard it.
Yeah.
Just propped up or
lie down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very, very cool.
Yeah, and so my dad also taught glass blowing classes at a local community college, and one of his students made us some little atomic marbles and necklaces, which I'm actually wearing one right now also around my neck. And I like to use that as a talking point. Like, yes, this is radioactive. It could be a little bit scary, potentially, but I know enough about what kind of radiation and how it impacts me to feel totally comfortable wearing this around my neck. So let me know if you have questions.
Yeah, definitely. And I have a radioactive plate as well that it doesn't glow because it's not see-through. It has uranium oxide inside of the glaze for it. It's a piece of vintage Fiesta ware, and my Geiger counter just goes crazy when you put it on top. It just clicks a lot. It starts flashing, high radiation. To take shelter, run for the hills. But it's just plate.
Zoomies.
Yeah, zoomies were doomed.
Yes.
Exactly. And it's actually more radioactive, that plate, than a storage cask of spent nuclear fuel. And I personally tested that recently when I got to give one a hug and a little kiss in Louisiana. So coming along here, we are seeing the works of Angel Rafael or Ralph Vasquez Concepcion, who is an abstract artist focusing on nuclear and nuclear issues from San Francisco, or at least based in San Francisco, I think. And yeah, I wish he was here to more fully explain these pieces, because it's abstract art, so I guess it's within the eye of the beholder. We can only interpret and guess if that's what he was going for or not. It's really cool to see the Atoms for Peace logo represented in here. We can maybe interpret this as neutrons flying around in an atomic reaction. See some radioactive symbols here, some beads. And this says around it, to find the way by which inventiveness of man shall be consecrated to his life, to find and then it just repeats that. So I think those are words from Eisenhower's Atoms for Peace speech, if I remember right.
Yes.
What do you think this black box means? Is that?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm going to interpret it as what most people think of when they try to imagine how a nuclear reactor works. Like, it's just this black box. We don't know. This, spicy rocks come in, power come out. But it isn't quite as complicated as people think in reality.
This is my favorite of Ralph's art, and I love the gold atom surrounding our nuclear planet, and just like the textures on this, and it makes me feel that nuclear is, our hope for our planet, and I see that in this picture.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. It's nice. I like, and these stars this is definitely of the like mid-century modern design motif, I think. You'd see a lot of this in, maybe marketing materials and different design. I know there's like, I feel like I've seen clocks that use this type of thing, so it sort of harkens back to that atomic age.
The atomic age, speaking of that.
Yeah, atomic age. So here we clearly have a nucleus of a uranium atom with that amount of orb-like objects.
Do you think there's 235?
Maybe.
I'm going to count them later.
Yeah, wow. I would guess if there isn't visible, there probably isn't visibly that you can count. I would say maybe there's over 100, just kind of guessing. But, if it's a three-dimensional object, I think that's well within reason that there could be, around that number added together, which is very, very cool.
What do you think of that color, Eric? The pink?
Yeah, it's a little
bright.
little bit Barbenheimer, isn't it? I wonder. I will have to ask Ralph if that was part of the inspiration here.
The pink and the yellow go well together.
Yeah.
I love the brightness.
Yeah. Very, very cool. And and these are Ralph's final pieces. I think we can interpret this triangle here as a nucleus with a neutron coming towards it. Would be my look at that. Very, very cool stuff. But abstract art, I'm always like, am I interpreting this right? I don't know. But man, some incredible work. And if you are an artist, make some nuclear art. And if you're not, hope you enjoyed that. And thanks for coming along with us.
Come out and see us.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, stay rad. Adams for peace out.